procedure is analyze. Okay, I can do that. Analyze, correlate. Bivariate. Bivariate means you're looking at the correlation of two variables. Okay, this comes from the other class. Again, all I did was take variables out of here that, notice, again, these symbols, where do these symbols come from? Because I labeled the data as either being nominal, or this is metric data, which is interval ratio, or this symbol means it's ordinal. So you want to have at least ordinal or metric data in this list that I've taken out of here and put it over here. And notice I've got some ordinal data in this mix, so I'm going to have to look at some Spearman correlations. When I'm looking like the text 4 versus any of these other guys, I have to look at Spearman correlations. When I'm looking at project 5 versus interest, or interest versus del X, or del X versus age, since they're all metric, I can look at Pearson correlations. They're a little more powerful in detecting significant correlations. So notice your boxes here. Check Pearson if you want Pearson, check Spearman if you want Spearman. I want them both. So I hit OK. It says flag significant correlation. Sure, that's the default. Let's keep that. That means you'll get asterisks when they're significant. Hit OK. Bingo. Here's the results. Now these are the Pearson correlations first, and then below that are the Spearman correlations. So remember, your diagonal on this thing is just a variable against itself, so it's going to be 1 in the correlation value, and it's meaningless. And then down here in this lower quadrant is a mirror image of what's in the upper quadrant. So we're basically only going to focus on this upper quadrant here. And since I'm looking at Spearman correlations, I want to look at this variable, marketing research text, and see how it correlates with project 5, interest, del X, and age 2. And that's the appropriate correlations to look at, are the Spearman correlations. Now you notice they're flagged here, so these are significant. But I don't know what it's using for a significance level. 0.01. We're testing at 0.10, so we have to be a little more careful to look at this. So here's our p-value. What do? Accept or reject? Yeah, we're rejecting that there's no correlation. There is a correlation. 0.361 is positive. So basically, as your evaluation of the text number here goes up, goes from 1 to 3, this also goes up. You want more weight on the project. So it's a little, well, you have to be careful. And what does a 3 mean? And what does a 1 mean in text? Let's go back to the original questionnaire. A 1 meant it was easy, a 2 meant it was medium, and a 3 meant it was difficult. So as you think the text goes to more difficulty, you're more likely to think that you want more weight on the project. That's the interpretation there. As the text becomes more difficult to you, you want more weight on the project. Everybody understand that? Why do I know that? Because I know what 3 means difficult. The text is difficult. Let's go back to the original coding. Any questions on that interpretation? Bob? Questions? Bob?
Yeah, I'm just confused what you said, the 3.
Okay, notice, you got to go back to the coding on this. Go back, look at page 143. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about. 143. Look at question number 4 on page 143. Easy, medium, and difficult. Look at the coding to that question. The 1 is easy, the 2 is medium, the 3 is difficult. Right?
Okay.
So as I go up in difficulty evaluation on this variable, I go up in wanting more weight on this project. The more I think it's difficult, the more I want weight on the project. That's how you have to interpret it. Okay, the next one, interest, 0.1008. What do? Accept or reject? I accept that there's no correlation. So I'm done, basically. I'm done that there's no correlation. By the way, you'll see a correlation here, but just as far as you're concerned, this value is what? 0. As far as you're concerned, it's 0. You're accepting the hypothesis that there's no correlation. And if you're accepting that, you're saying R is equal to 0. So just assume this is 0. Don't go and say, well, I can't reject this, but it looks like there's a negative correlation. You know, it's 0, as far as you're concerned. Okay, this is 0.165, which means we do what, accept or reject? That's accept. So again, this is 0 as far as you're concerned. And now this is less than 0.10, so what do? Reject. Now here we have a negative correlation, so now it gets more difficult to interpret again, because it's negative. So as age goes up, your value on this goes down. So as age goes up, and that's usually your independent variable in the analysis, age. As a person gets older, they think the text is what, getting easier or more difficult? As age goes up, this one goes down. Now, as this goes down, it's getting easier. So the older people basically think the text is easy. The younger people think it's more difficult. Questions on that? Therese, question? Okay, so that's your Spearman correlation. Let's go back and do the Pearsons up here. Pearsons are for project 5 versus interest. Got a .006. We're going to reject that there's no correlation. There is a correlation. It's a negative correlation. And basically, as your interest in the class goes up, your weight on this goes down. So over here, 0.134, dull exciting versus project 5. Have to accept there's no correlation. Over here, 0.002, we have a significant correlation here. And basically, as your age goes up, you want more weight on the project. Positive correlation here. Any questions on that guy? Okay, interest. Interest versus dull exciting. What do we do? Accept or reject? Reject, and there's a positive correlation. So what happens to, as your interest in the class goes up, your evaluation of excitement goes what? Up too. Makes sense. Okay, we go interest versus age 2. As your age, this is a p-value of 0.174. What do we do? Is there a correlation? You have to accept that there's no correlation. No correlation between age and interest. Now we go to dull exciting, and we look at dull exciting versus age. As your age, what does it say? Is there a correlation or not? So we're going to accept that there's no correlation. Accept that there's no correlation. So no correlation between age and dull exciting. We're done basically when we've got all the way over here, because this is this little section that we look at. Any questions, comments on interpreting these correlations? Okay, so Pearson correlations are on the top, Spearman's on the bottom.